Right folks, welcome to this exciting video. In this adventure you once again join me in the wild landscape of Scotland, and I just thought I would do this short little adventure because I was here one time before in the summer when I first discovered this abandoned location, but because of the forest environment it's in, there was so many ticks I had to clear out without like exploring the history fully. Another detail, this forest's actually starting to get cleared, and that's how there's forwarder tracks and stuff, and a lot of these trees are gone, whereas in the summer when I was here, like, this was a full forest. But this is an interesting little abandoned location here in the forest because it's actually remains of an old sawmill, because back in the days, maybe like 1940s, when this sawmill was put in, like, instead of carting the trees away from the forest full, they used to actually cut the wood up at the location they were at. So that's the reason this little sawmill's in the wood. Probably back in the 40s or the 30s, they would have been in here, clear fell in the area, and this was the little sawmill here that it would have been a steam powered sawmill most likely. Just check this out folks, let's get into it and have a look. The last time I was here as well, it was super like overgrown, like summer conditions. In the winter it'll be so much easier to see what we're dealing with. Look at it, massive chunks of cement. They remain here as a skeleton of the history which at one time stood here in the forest. And look, there's chunks away over here. I'm not sure if there's been more which is gone where these tracks go through. Wow, look at this folks. This forest, like, sawmill area would have been in use before all these trees were planted. Probably the sawmill was used when the clear felled it and cut the wood, and then it was replanted. And then that's the trees that we're seeing all the way around here. So you can tell from the growth of these trees, it was likely like early 1940s or whatever they were planting them. Pretty soon they'll be cut down, and that's the harvest of the trees. It's just a crop, just like barley or tatties, but instead of taking a year to grow, it takes a whole generation of people, often 2 generations, and then it's ready to harvest. And that's why it's important to keep planting the trees for the generations further down the line. It's been going on, the management of the land like this, for centuries here in Scotland, and stuff like this, history like this, is evidence of that. The way that humans can manage the land and look after it for the supply of timber, and that's often one of the main things that keeps these little Scottish glens going. There's always been forestry. And just look, it's been a fair old bit they've had here for the saw. Wow, it's a mad scene folks. Look, there's big bits of the, like, chunks of it broken off I believe. It's almost like there's been a square here in the middle and half of it's gone. That could maybe be part of what's lying over there. And this whole bit here looks like the massive base. See, I think there's probably been a saw table on here, which was a proper, like, moving item. And it's likely been a massive circular saw, I'm thinking. Because on here there would have been a massive steam engine powered from the furnace, which would have been within that stone structure there. They would have been getting their pressure of steam from the heat, and then the power of that they would have been using to power their saw bench. And it's cool to think about that ancient forgotten history folks. It's literally like 3 degrees Celsius right now and it's freezing cold. Look at that. You see where they've poured the cement against the wooden shuttering. Still in great condition under there where the weather hardly affects it. And look at the size of these bolts which at one time had held the saw, or some of the apparatus, the saw bench maybe. Even over here you can see it sticking out of the bushes and grass. The moss and wildlife just takes back over in a place like this. And then look at this here, see they've maybe had, because it was steam powered, they've maybe had a source of water. And look at this deep well here. When I came here in the summer you could hardly see this, the remains of this here, but it's been so deep And then it's had some sort of bracket at the top here. Yeah, often with a site like this, once they had clear felled this area and cut their timber, they would have taken their crucial items here and then rebuilt this whole setup at a different forest and continued their forest operations. Oh, you see there's two brackets here and then another one slightly further over. See, the reason it's cut out below may have been for the blade going down under, but also it could have been to take away the sawdust, because there was so much sawdust created from the cutting of timber. Yeah, I can't believe the size of the structure, folks, and the way it's almost like some of the military structures that we explore. And it was built in the same time in British history. And maybe the people that were building this went on to actually join up in the war and build some of the bunkers that we've explored. Look at that, it's like a chimney, I think, there. Wow, real history once again, folks. I love documenting stuff like this. It's like hardly seen. It tells a little story of history in this Scottish glen. It's an interesting story of the forestry. Yeah, from this cement up here I can tell it's had maybe a different top on there at a certain time, maybe even like a chimney can. And maybe a hole like that was to help it draw, because I've seen a lot of chimneys on my adventures. They all seem to have that hole in the back of them there. And check out this side, this is a massive chunk here. And it's hard to see if there's any like big bolts or anything sticking up on top of this bit. And then this must have been the main furnace burning away in here with the chimney. It may have been a furnace house rather than it being the furnace itself. It may have had a massive cast iron or whatever boiler system in here with a chimney leading out here. Wow, it's history from an ancient time, folks, and it's like mad just to think about that. Like what may have been in here, or the people that were working here at a certain time for the industry of the glen. And there's just things like this. It's probably when they come and clear fell all these trees, like this will be damaged and even more far gone, and that's why it's a special thing to record this, do this short wee video. See the damage around the front of this could have been done when they were extracting the apparatus after their timber operations. Yeah, see this, the cutouts leading right through there, which is interesting as well. It's like technology from an ancient time, folks, but it's been an industrial centre of the glen for a while when they've been doing this, and it's cool to tell the old story of forestry as well, because it's totally changed nowadays. Then big processing machines come in and just fell a forest in a few days. Now they just take the trees away in one piece. Oh look, there's another massive chunk of cement up here. See, there could have been more history which has been deleted when they brought this road in, because I could see more cement over there. Wow, it would have been so cool to explore this maybe like 20 years ago or something by the looks of things. But there we are, what a special scene of abandoned history once again. Yeah, I'll be on my way. It's so cold today, folks. It's cool to do a wee short video like that. An interesting little nugget of history. But I'm literally parked just right here, so I'm going to end this one here. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll be back very soon with the next adventure.